Hi folks, it's John from lastchanceautorestore.com and kingstonpowdercoating.com. Behind me we have the 1933 Ford truck. Pretty rare truck, and we're doing a ground up restoration, rotisserie restoration. So we've done quite a bit of work on the frame. We've powder coated the wheels, which we shared with you in an earlier video. The original spoked wheels, they were sandblasted and powder coated. So we're just sharing with people. You typically, when we do the engine, we're rebuilding the engine. It's a flathead 4-cylinder, and we're going to paint it the original green color, early Ford green. But then we have these accessories, and we have things like our harmonic balancer, we have our pulley, we have our air tube with the cap that pops on here, and we have some various parts. This is the top of the shifter. So when we start looking at a lot of these parts when we're doing restorations, a baked on paint or a powder coated paint is extremely durable, and certain applications I think it's a nice thing to do. So obviously they didn't do powder coating back in 1933, but we want to show this truck is going to be a show truck, and it's going to be on display at a higher end restaurant in the Kingston, Ontario area. So what we want to do is we want to be able to have it as nice as possible. And when we take a pulley, so believe it or not, this is an original pulley from 1933, and we've sandblasted this pulley, and we degreased and cleaned it, we preheated it, and then we've powder coated it with this gloss black. Now it's so durable that this is probably going to last the rest of the truck's life. So rather than sanding this by hand, epoxying it and sealing it, gray high build primer, sanding it out, you can see we have these rivets. It would be very, very time consuming to sand and to keep turning this over and priming and sanding, getting it to final 400 grit, and then applying a gloss black paint. We thought, you know what, why don't we try doing some of these black accessories that typically would be high gloss black. And some of the metal back then, like you can see this, some people say, well, this is kind of barbaric in terms of the way they built it. But the technology back then, they had this top cap they punched holes in, and there's 3 tabs for this bottom shoulder. So this is a 2-piece unit. This piece was slid in from the factory, bent over, and then they just tack welded those 3 locations. So what we did is we sandblasted it and prepped it correctly for powder coating. So now this is a powder coated finish. Now from a durability standpoint, we're not going to worry about any rust spots starting to bleed through these slots in these areas where typically over time it is going to have some surface rust. With the powder coating, it's much more durable. It's a nice gloss black as it should be, and it just makes it, I think, a nicer finish overall. And then when that's placed on there, I can just imagine how nice that's going to look on the side of the engine when the truck is totally restored. So there's lots of applications for a powder coated paint, and this is another great example of it doesn't matter what year the vehicle is, it's more of the quality, the durability, and then the overall finish and quality of it when it's done. This is just the top of the shifter. So inside the interior, this screws into the top mount of the transmission. The gear shift lever comes out of here, and that's just a nice touch to have that powder coated. So just looks a lot better in my opinion. So I thank you for watching. Just another use for powder coating. I'm John from kingstonpowdercoating.com.